Hi everyone, welcome, namaste. This is Kunal Bothra. Good to have you back again. Another fantastic session of YouTube Live. And today, again, like what we do every time, it's going to be very, very different this time around. The analysis and the crux behind where we are heading on the index and what are the trends to watch out for. So, something which is extremely interesting for all of you guys. Like what we do every time before we kickstart the YouTube live and the discussion on the markets today, I would request everyone to ensure that you like the video, you share the video with all your friends, as well as don't forget to comment on the videos and leave your thoughts on what next topic we can probably take in the next few YouTube live sessions. As I said, we do this regularly, and I've tried to ensure that on most part of the weekdays, especially on the days when I'm relatively free, I would probably take the YouTube live. On Saturday, of course, it was a hectic day. We finally ended the budget day. It was a bit of an overtime, so I thought why not cover up the the Saturday session today itself. I hope you loved the observations what we discussed in the previous YouTube live. If not, then I would request all of you guys who are joining new, just go back to our previous YouTube lives because we perfectly mentioned that which sectors to avoid on the day of railway, on the day of budget. We mentioned railway stocks, we mentioned defense stocks, the PSU insurance name, blah 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 blah. I can keep on going. You guys can check the video, for YouTube Live, and we mentioned this very clearly that you have to avoid these stocks irrespective of how these stocks open up. I think on an average, we saw many of these railway stocks falling by 4% to 6% on closing basis. Now, we've seen that historically on the budget day, and no surprise that we saw it this time around also. I hope you loved the observation, and I hope that you would probably want us to come out with such more classic observations. So, without much ado, let's begin today's session. Again, a request to all of you guys to ensure that you like the video as well as share the video with all your family, friends, and your colleagues, etc. So let's kickstart today's discussion on the market. Like what we do every time, today's discussion is also very intriguing because today also I've taken a classic over here of where the markets are heading and what are the factors which we typically look out for. So today's technical tea with Kunal Bothra, 3rd Feb 2025. Now, interestingly, in the previous few YouTube lives, we mentioned the first observation, the first base or the premise of our observation that the India VIX is starting to rally or starting to get back into a zone above 18. We mentioned this that in the previous historical instances, whenever the India VIX has come above the level of 18, and from 18, when the India VIX reverses its course, the index forms a bottom. Now, today we look at that how in the previous instance and the instance which exactly coincided with the event which we had faced, the budget event, how the India VIX, the Nifty reaction is almost similar. So, like what we say, history may not repeat itself in a very similar kind of a magnitude, but it definitely rhymes. So today we look at the first chart, which tells you that how the Nifty chart and the India VIX chart are more or less synced or linked with each other. So let's look at the first part of our analysis. Uh, this is the India VIX chart. Okay. Now, if you remember in 2023, so yeah, this is where we are. 2023, the just a couple of days prior to the budget, the India VIX managed to rise above 18, and from there we corrected and we fell sharply on the India VIX. Now, this action of India VIX is very similar to this action of India VIX, the current action of India VIX, right? Currently, also the India VIX managed to rise above 18. We had, I think, one day of close above 18 levels, and then post that we saw the India VIX falling. Now we are almost at 14 to 14.4, as you can guys can see on the India VIX. But why is this very similar to the previous instance of the budget? Now let's look at the chart over here. Yep. Let's look at the chart over here. This is the chart of Nifty 50. Okay. Now let's go back to the, yeah, this is the time of the budget. This is the time of the previous budget, 2023, the full budget of the previous year, where a couple of years back, where the Nifty reaction was like this. This is the day of the budget. Okay, so the index came into a selling spree. We saw a selling spree, a couple of days of bounce back on the index. Then we saw this major red candle for the Nifty, where we made a swing high, then a low for the index. Okay, the highs and the lows, the absolute swings were very much high. We closed negative. Next day, the index opened negative, but then we recovered from intraday low. However, both these days were candlestick negative. And then what happened post that is that the index got into a steady recovery. Now, these two candlestick patterns and the setup prior to that, okay, just pay attention over here. These two candlestick pattern, the budget day candle and the candle which happens on the next day, is almost very similar to what we are seeing today. Correct? This is the budget day. As I said, history may not repeat itself in the same magnitude, but it definitely rhymes in the same pattern. We saw a good recovery. Then we saw the budget day where the index made a absolute high low. This was a swing of I think around 300, 350 points for the Nifty. We made a new low, rather a candle where the index opened with a new low. Intraday there was some recovery. So now you can gauge and guess what could be the next candle. Any guesses? What could be the next candle for the index? Which means in the next 1 or 2 days, we should try and give a bullish candle for the Nifty and we should try and come back to this zone at least. So 23,450 to 500. This is the zone where we should come at least closer to in the next 1 to 2 days for the index. If you see the magnitude and the price pattern correction in the previous instance, correct? You see the price pattern correction in this previous instance, we made a new low, we made a low on the budget, we closed negative. Then the next day, similar hollow candlestick, we call it as hollow candlestick. Zada bears में इतना दम नहीं था, that's why we call it as hollow candlestick. And then post that, we see some wobbly price movement, but eventually the index starts to move up higher. Now, at this point, if I start asking you, the first premise of a question is that what do you believe the index could be? Like whether the Nifty should move up higher, whether we come back to 23,500, 24,000 mark, or whether we come back lower to 20,000 level or 2,500 mark. Now, to answer that, okay, we did the first part of analysis, which was on India VIX. The second part of analysis was death crossover. I'll repeat this again because it's a fantastic link which we did, and you guys can check it on our live section for our channel where we mentioned a video titled as death crossover. We mentioned that how on the death crossover the Nifty tries to come back closer to its 200-day moving average before the next leg of selling starts off. Okay, the first retest of the 200-day moving average typically happens on the index. So if you do the math, okay, we mentioned on the previous session that post the India VIX, there is generally a 3% to 4% rally, which means we calculated 600 to 800 points. We made a low of 20 to 800 and we jumped up to 23,600 thereabouts, which means a jump of almost 3.5 to 4% for the India VIX based on the India VIX first observation. Now, the second observation which I have spotted today is that the Nifty is mirroring the price action which was there in 2023, and we are likely to see some bit of steady, gradual, sudden upside which could come into the index because the selling is becoming hollow for the Nifty. The third observation is the most intriguing one. So I hope you guys are ready for that. The third observation is the most intriguing one. You know what is that? Now we all know, in fact, in our Ultima advisory, we mentioned, one stock in the start of the month of January, end of December, and that was Bajaj Finance, and that how we were very bullish on the stock. Okay, and I'll tell you the reason why we were very bullish on the stock. It's in the next chart. This is the chart of Bajaj Finance. Now, what happened over here is one of my proprietary indicators. That's the the modified trend indicator. This modified trend indicator, the I call it the I Nifty indicator, gave us a buy signal. So as you can see, the indicator gave me a breakout over here about this blue horizontal line. That was a point where we spotted Finance and Bajaj Finserv, of course, both of these stocks to start to get back into a zone of outperformance. Now, it's of course a tough journey over the last 2 months because we had to ride through a lot of volatility for the markets, but that gave us a zing that we need to hold on to the stock. Okay, why I'm pointing this out is because the same observation is now being spotted on an index chart. Okay, so this is the chart for Nifty Bank. Now, this was the previous time when the Nifty Bank index gave us a breakout. This was in 2023. Now, if you guys have your charts open with you, I would just ask you to just quickly tell me in November 2023, when the Bank Nifty was almost at 43,500 levels, we got this signal where the Bank Nifty gave us a breakout of this blue horizontal line on a trend indicator. I call it the I Nifty indicator. Okay. What happened post that? Anyone? Can anyone tell me what happened post that? 2023 November, the Bank Nifty was at 44,000, 43,500, 44,000 thereabouts. What happened post that? Can anyone tell me? Let me first stop sharing the screen. Let me ask. Anyone? What happened post that? The Bank Nifty post this breakout of the horizontal line, the trend indicator, okay, gave a very interesting analysis, gave a very breakout. This was the chart for the Bank Nifty. This is what happened post that. In the next 1 month, the Bank Nifty, initially slow, steady, gradual, managed to come back towards a trend mode. Can you see this? From the breakout point of 43,500, we managed to come back again to 47,000 levels on the Bank Nifty, and then it kept on moving up higher. But why is this very important today? Because as we speak, as we discuss, this is the current chart of Bank Nifty. Now take a pause, take a moment's pause, and see for yourself. Okay, we discussed the charts of Bajaj Finance, that how the stock gave us a breakout. We always believe, I have this very fantastic line which I keep on quoting on ET Now, on the channel which I appear daily, that what is a movement of index? And movement of index is just an amalgamation, okay, or a summation of all what happens to the individual stocks. So if the individual stocks give you a breakout of a trend indicator, like one by one, then eventually the same behavior gets replicated on the Nifty. So if, for example, three stocks, five stocks on the Nifty basket, if they start showing us a similar trigger, then eventually the Nifty will also show us the similar trigger. Okay. So this is just one example of the chart of Bajaj Finance which I showed. Now this is the chart for the Bank Nifty. This is the chart for the Bank Nifty. The Bank Nifty has given us a similar breakout of a modified indicator or a trend indicator, right? And here is what the next part of analysis is, that Bank Nifty showing us a sense that we are heading up higher on the Bank Nifty. Now this could probably mean multiple things. This could mean that maybe we are looking at a point where the markets have come back into a zone where everyone is believing that RBI should do something very amazing into this RBI policy. Maybe there could be a point where the markets may disappoint, okay, post the RBI policy. So there could be a rate cut, assuming that's my assumption. But post that, maybe the markets could disappoint first. Everyone will come out of their position saying that now there is no trigger for the Bank Nifty to move up higher, and then post that you will see a sudden jump on the banking index. The third part of the analysis is also very intriguing because all of this is a chain event. All our discussions in the previous YouTube live, you have to see connect with us on a daily basis, because then you will come to know where our thought process is aligned. We mentioned that we are having fourth consecutive month of negative returns for the index, and in the last 20 years we've not had five consecutive returns or negative returns for the index. So that also gives you a second hand sense that maybe on an intra-month basis, we may hover around this 48, 49,000 mark for the Bank Nifty. But eventually, there should be a point where the index should start to move up higher, right? And then basis on the trend analysis, trend indicator, this gives us the first sense that the bears may start to lose their grip and the bulls may start to hold their grip strongly. So I hope you loved this part of the. If you guys have any queries, I'm glad and I'm ready to take that. Yep. Uh, Okay, so the first question which we have is on the, can you suggest some AMC stocks for the long term? I actually believe that there are maybe just two AMC names which I track very closely: Nippon Asset Management India as well as HDFC AMC. If you ask me, HDFC AMC is far more stable as a chart. I generally believe that stocks which are having that slight lesser degree of volatility, they should generally be taken first as part of your robust portfolio action. So maybe I think I would probably prefer HDFC AMC to be a better bet. Hi Bhavini, hi Alice, hi Manoharan, Nitin Patil, hi Deepak, Atin Agarwal, Alice, Basavraj. Okay. Second question which we have is, what's your analysis about Indian hotels and also your take on pharma stocks as a sector? My sense is that Indian hotels at current levels of 790, 790, 800 thereabouts, I think it seems to be a very good buy. Okay, if you ask me, because okay, let me just share the screen. So I'll share my analysis with you. Why Indian? Okay, this is the charts for Indian hotels. I hope you guys can see this chart for Indian hotels. Look at the point where the stock has come back into a retest of the support. So which means over the last 2 years, from a point where the recent mega trend started for Indian hotels, this is the trend line. जब हर बार वो trend line पे आता है and stock makes a low and then it bounces back. I think somewhere around here, this day or this day, is where I'd given a contra buy on Indian hotels, even on the ET Now channel, where I mentioned that this is the zone where traders should look at a contra buy for Indian hotels, and it's now respecting the trend line and it's starting to move up higher. So, as part of your question, I believe if Indian hotels moves up higher and we continue to see a jump on the stock price, this trend line is not broken, then maybe there could be a case where from current levels, Indian hotels can continue to move up higher. So it's a good buy. Frankly, if you ask me, this is the best zone to buy the stock, 760 to 780. Any next questions? Okay, good question. Rajan Parashar has asked, has Aarti Industries formed a bottom? Now, I'll show the chart over here for all of you guys so that you guys will come to know that why there is something which is very interesting which is happening on the chart. Okay, for Aarti Industries. Now, this is the charts for Aarti Industries. I hope you guys can see it on the screen. There are two things which have happened to the stock price. One is that the trend for the stock, this was the downtrend for the stock. Stock was going through a series of downtrend, lower highs, lower low, lower highs, lower low, lower highs, lower low. This trend has been broken. First time this trend has been broken. So which means we have broken the chain of lower highs and lower lows. That's point number one. Second, and the most interesting point, if you guys can see, look at the average volume over here. Can you see this? Average volume. This is approximately around 60 lakhs, 80 lakhs of average volume. जैसे ही stock ने यहाँ पे bottom बनाया, compare this to the average volume over here. What was the average volume? 17 lakhs, 15 lakhs to 17 lakhs. 4x the volume, 4x the volume, an increase in volume activity, okay, a rise in prices, a break of the previous downtrend, and now if you look at this closely, which pattern is this? Price pattern. ये क्या बना रहा है? This is shoulder. shoulder, this is head, and this is shoulder again. Which pattern is this? Come on, guys, simple one. It's a inverted head and shoulder pattern. Inverted head and shoulder pattern for Aarti Industries. So that itself should sum up to you price wise, trend wise, volume wise, and pattern wise. All four aspects tells us that there is a strong case that Aarti Industries could have formed a bottom. Look at the other peer group scenario. SRF, new high. Naveen Fluorine, almost at new highs. Okay, and same is the case with other stocks in the same space, which means that there is a possibility that the worst, at least, for the stock could be behind. Now, don't believe that maybe if the results could disappoint and everything. I'm not sure what the results could be. I'm not even sure whether the results are out or not also for the stock, but results are the only events where stocks they generally tend to disappoint or the last selling happens. यहाँ पे volume wise, price wise, technical characteristics suggests that the stock has formed a bottom and we are looking at a potential major change of trend for the stock. So I hope this query is answered on Aarti Industries. Okay, Rajan Parashar, I'll take maybe another couple of queries. Uh, Okay, screen is not visible. Satya Prakash, I am sorry, this is the problem of YouTube. But let me just try and see and is this visible now? Are you guys able to spot the chart for Aarti Industries? Is it? Yes? I hope so. Yes, visible. Fantastic. So I'll just repeat once again very quickly. Look at the average volume for Aarti Industries. The average volume over here has jumped up to almost 60 lakhs, 60 lakhs. 50-60 lakh का daily volume हो रहा है. Compared to the volumes here, this was the point when the stock was going through a time-wise consolidation, price-wise consolidation, but no volumes. Suddenly, after this day, you start to see volumes building up. The stock is now making a pattern of higher highs and higher lows. It's broken out of the trend line resistance. So all of that is indicating that the stock is now getting at a point of a breakout or an uptrend. And the third point which I mentioned was inverted head and shoulder. This is the shoulder, this is the big head, and then this is the right shoulder. This pattern height is approximately 50 points. तो मोटा मोटा 400 का बेस है, 450 का हाइट है. So approximately 50 points का pattern है, which means you can do the math and you can come to the potential target range for Aarti Industries. I hope this point is clear. I think many of you asked about the previous chart for Bank Nifty. I think the screen was not visible. So let me just run through once again. We were discussing this point that Bajaj Finance gave us a breakout over here on the basis of trend indicator. What happened post that was that the stock moved up by a margin of 8 to 10% further in a very short span of time, that too by a margin of 1 to 2 months. Same we spotted for Bank Nifty in 2023, where the Bank Nifty crossed this major horizontal trend line. In the next 1 month, the Bank Nifty moved up higher by a margin of 2,000 to 3,000 points. And the best part is currently the Bank Nifty has given us a very similar kind of a trend breakout signal. You can see this trend breakout signal. So maybe one more day of confirmation, and if the Bank Nifty closes above the closing of the budget day high 49,500, 600 thereabouts, it could be a brilliant confirmation that the markets have started to get back into a turnaround mode. So I hope you guys now visible. Fantastic, lovely. Cool. So I think we've taken good amount of questions, and like what we do, we will present with one more interesting stock-based analysis tomorrow. So if you guys generally 6 o'clock, 6:30, Indian time 6 o'clock is where we will connect with the YouTube live. Maybe half an hour, 1 hour plus minus ho sakta hai. So pardon me for that. But closer to 6 o'clock is where we'll try to keep the YouTube live. So I would request all of you guys to be free and ensure that you like, share, subscribe to the channel, and do share it with all your friends. on the interesting analysis. And on the comment box, I want all of you guys to mention what is your expected target for the Bank Nifty based on the observation what we've shared today. So we've shared a fantastic observation, the trend indicator. I want all of you guys, okay, to start commenting on the chat box. Where do you guys expect that the Nifty should be heading towards in the next 1 month, or the Bank Nifty in the next 1 month from current levels? Whether we are going up higher, how much magnitude, or whether we are going lower, how much magnitude. And we'll see it in the next few sessions of the analysis. And also, I think it's the RBI policy. We have a very, very special bonanza for all of you guys. Like what we did for budget analysis, we are coming up with the RBI analysis. What happens on occasions when RBI cuts the interest rate by 50 basis point or by 25 basis point? We will mention the analysis part for both the scenarios. So जैसे ही फ्राइडे को RBI policy announce होती है, you guys pretty much know or are set with the thought process that statistically how the markets have moved after 25 basis point cut or a 50 basis point cut. So whatever it is, we don't know what's going to be an outcome, but our job is to bring out the best of the stats and to present it to all of you guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe the video and the channel. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great, great, great evening. Bye bye.